Okay, with the warm-up question, I'm going to be taking the monomial 3x squared, and I have to multiply both these terms in the binomial. So 3 times 8 is 24, and then we still have an x squared with that. 3 times on minus 4 would be minus 12, and then we have x squared times x, which we keep the base the same, and we add the exponents to get x cubed. So we have that being equal to 24x squared minus 12x cubed. This next one, the 2x, is going to multiply that first bracket until it reaches the end of the bracket. Once it gets to the end of the bracket, its job is done. So 2 times the 4 would be 8, x times x squared would be x cubed, and we have a y along with that. Then we have a takeaway, 2 times 3 is 6, x times x would be x squared, and a y to go along with that, and then plus 2 times 2 is 4 with an x. Now its job is finished because it reached the end of its bracket. Now what we're going to do is take that minus 2x squared y and multiply it through its bracket. So a negative 2 times a positive 3 is a minus. 2 times 3 is 6, so we're taking away 6. X squared times x is x cubed, and then times y. We're going to be taking away a negative, which becomes plus. 2 times 1 is 2. We have an x squared and a y. So at this point, I'm going to look for any like terms. I'm not sure if I set up this to have any like terms, but I'm going to check. If I look at this, I have an 8x cubed y, and I'm looking to see, do I have any other x cubed y's? And I see an x cubed y here. So the sign in front goes with that. 8x cubed y, take away 6x cubed y would be 2x cubed y. And then let's see if I have any to go with this one. I have a minus 6x squared y, and I have another x squared y term here with a plus 2. If I'm down 6 at negative 6, but then I go up 2 plus 2, I would be overall to the left or negative or down 4x squared y. And then I only have one term left, so there's nothing I can put with it. I have that plus 4x there. Okay, so that's my simplified form. Now, how do we multiply polynomials by other polynomials? The two warm-up examples only had a monomial times polynomials. Here we have a binomial times a binomial. Now, what this looks like in terms of things to help you remember, think of this as you and a friend going to a party. So you come together in a group. So the brackets make you a group coming together at a party. And then when you get to the party, you meet up with another couple. Okay, so here is a different couple in this bracket. Here's the one couple, one person and their friend. Okay, now this story I got from Mr. Shattuck. I used to teach this a different way, but his is kind of interesting. So when you get to the party, you don't shake hands with the people that you already came with. So this X and the plus 1, they don't shake hands with each other. The X, that first person in the one couple, will shake hands with both of the people that they're meeting up with. And in math, what I'm really meaning is that X is going to shake hands, but in math it's actually multiplying. And then Mr. Shattuck will diverge into a story about maybe these people are not really shaking hands, they're actually multiplying, but I'm not sure what kind of parties he goes to. But anyway, I'm just kidding. We have a plus 1, and that one has to also shake hands or multiply the 3x and the plus 5. Okay, so once we get going with this, you might be able to leave this line out that I've written in here, and then it becomes a monomial times a binomial like we just did with our warm-up question. So you should get 3x squared plus a 5x, and then plus 1 times 3x is 3x, and then plus 1 times plus 5 is plus 5. And then if I could look for like terms, the only like terms I have are the plus 5x and the plus 3x. So that's going to give us 3x squared. 5 and 3 make 8 x's, and then plus 5 here. Okay, so let's try the next one. If you want to try it on your own, you can. I'm going to write the steps in. If you want to put me on pause, you can, and then come back to it. Okay, so if I write the steps in, the 4x is going to need to multiply both of the terms in the other bracket. So some of you are going to get to the point where you're going to leave the step out that I'm going to write down, where you're going to actually do 4x times 2x and know that that is 8x squared. And then the 4x times the plus 1 would be a plus 4x. That really came from doing the 4x times the 2x plus 1. Okay, so you can still write the step in if you need it, but if you get to the point where you don't, that's okay. And then it's minus 3's turn to multiply the 2x plus 1. Okay, so we're going to end up, I'm going to use a different color here. The minus 3 then has to multiply both of these things. So I've got my arrows indicating that multiplication. The minus 3 times the 2 would be minus 6 with the x. Minus 3 times plus 1 would be minus 3. And then if we collect our like terms, we're going to get 8x squared plus 4x minus 6x is minus 2x, and a minus 3 with that. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Try the next two. Put me on pause. Try the next two. D is a little interesting because you got x's and y's being multiplied. So try that out, see how you do, and then check. Okay, working on part C, you should have the 9. I'm going to leave the step out of writing that other piece in, and I'm just going to do the multiplication. 9 times 6 is 54. X times x is x squared. It's done that first term. Now it's going to be a takeaway. 7 times 9 is 63 with an x. And now it's minus 5's turn to multiply both of these. So minus 5 times 6 would be a minus. 5 times 6 is 30 with an x. And minus times a minus will be plus. 5 times 7 is 35. Okay, and then I collect my like terms. I still have 54x squared because there's no other like term with that. A minus 63 and a minus 30 should be minus 93x, and then a plus 35. So hopefully you're noticing we kind of end up with like an x squared, an x, and a constant, which reminds me of the standard form of my trinomials. Okay, standard form. Put that in your back pocket. All right, next you should have a 3x times a 3x, which would be 3x squared. A plus 3 times 4 is 12 with an x times a y, which is xy. Then it's minus 2y's turn. Minus 2 times 1 is minus 2 with a y times an x, and usually we put them in alphabetical order. So when I do this times this x, I get my coefficient first, the minus 2, and then y times x is the same thing as x times y. Think of that as 2 times 3 being the same as 3 times 2. The order of multiplication really doesn't matter there. All right, and then it's minus 2's turn to y's turn to multiply the plus 4y. So that's going to be minus 2 times 4 is 8, and then it's y times y, which would be a y squared. Again, the 2 in the middle can be combined here. These can be combined, but the other are not like terms. And I'm still going to write that in descending powers of x. So I put my x squared first. I have my plus 10, x to the 1 with a y, and then I've got my minus 8 y squared. So descending powers of x, it turns out that means it's also ascending powers of y. Okay, I'm going to stop there. You try the, no, you probably want to, I'm going to go to the next video. I've got for one more page maybe. All right, moving on to this one. Now, if I'm squaring something, so this has an exponent of 2, that really means I want to take what I have as my base, which in this case is all of the stuff in the brackets, so the 2x minus 5 is my base. That has to multiply itself twice. So what I say with the exponent 2, I say, be nice, write it out twice. Okay, and then that follows the same process as above. Before you try part F, what I'm going to strongly recommend that you do for part F is pretend the 3 is not there. You're just going to copy the 3 down and then do your multiplication as you would. You're going to take that 2x and multiply through the bracket, take the plus 1, multiply through that bracket, and put that answer in a big set of brackets. And then once you've got that tidied up, then multiply everything by 3 in the end. Sometimes students will try to multiply the 3 through first, and then I've seen so many disasters in my many years of experience. So it usually works better for students if you do the tricky multiplication first and then multiply everything by 3 at the end. Okay, you can try that out, and if you want to go on and try G and H, which involves some order of operation things, you can, and then you can check your work on the next video.